Hello everyone, welcome to our channel. Our topic today is Orthodox Dating 101, which is fitting given that it's the E of Valentine's Day and love is in the air. What is the traditional Christian approach to dating, and how does it differ from today's post-1960s post-sexual revolution practices? In reality, it does not. Modern dating practices are a recipe for heartbreak, broken hearts, and disaster. In the rise of contemporary autonomy, two lines should be closely followed. Let's pretend we're married before we get married. Dating and the rise of divorce. Those two are very close to each other. In fact, modern dating has destroyed marriage to the point where it's no longer the norm in the United States. Married couples make up less than half of all households in the United States. Misery, misery, and more misery. I'd forgotten about it. Don't even think about it. There's a much better way, and there is no better time than today to think about Orthodox Christian dating the right way. So that's what I'm going to do now. Give you some tips on the rules and guidelines of traditional Christian dating, how it's done, and how you can do it as well. I'd like to share a fantastic new video. It was posted about a week ago on the PragerU YouTube channel, and it's about dating. I strongly advise you to watch it. I'm now going to give you Father Josiah's 12 dating tips for traditional courtship. So, let's get started. The first requirement is a spiritual disposition. If you're a young adult who has not yet approached your faith, moving from being a Christian by birth to being a Christian by choice as a young adult, please do not begin dating because we don't really know who you are, and no woman or man in your life will know who you are until you do. Before turning your attention to an earthly spouse, it is critical to first establish an adult spiritual disposition in the name, and the language of Scripture, and to establish your relationship, your first love, with your heavenly bridegroom. Number 1 is a spiritual disposition. Number 2, learn how to interact with people of different sexes in a dignified, mature, and respectful manner. We won't be able to develop a more intense, quality relationship with one specific member of the opposite sex if we don't know how to interact with members of the opposite sex in church, school, or at work in a respectful, pleasing to God, and loving manner. So learn what is appropriate. Learn how to conduct yourself with dignity in the presence of a member of the opposite sex. Third, be prepared to conduct business. Prepare to conduct business. When you discover an interest in the opposite sex, you do not start dating. It doesn't mean you should start dating when girls no longer have cooties in the minds of young boys. In fact, we Christians have traditionally dated in order to marry. And if marriage is not on the horizon, dating is a disaster and premature. It's a setup for the chastity promise, which isn't ready yet. Instead, devote all of your energy to putting yourself in a position where you can do business and have something to offer another young woman or young man. So don't start dating until you're ready to do business, which means you're ready to get married, and then you can court to wed without having to wait years. Fourth, appreciate the entire ball of wax that is marriage. If you want to marry, make sure you truly understand what marriage entails. That marriage entails unbreakable fidelity for the rest of your life, sacred companionship, the embrace of children, and the willingness to procreate. And if you're not ready for those things, if you can't pledge exclusive fidelity, if you can't commit to being your partner's primary sacred companion, if you're not open to children, if you're not ready for marriage, and you're not appreciating the whole ball of wax, marriage isn't like a wax nose you can twist and say, "Oh, I'll take parts 1 and 3 and leave out part 2. No, you must take it all or your marriage will fail. Fifth, get permission before you begin. Get permission before you start thinking that dating is only about two people. It's both unusual and ridiculous. Families are involved, as is the church. Unless you intend to skip the church and involve a priest in your wedding, which most of you are no doubt planning if you're not yet married, Keep in mind that you do not simply present him with a package deal. Families have something to say, and so do godparents. Spiritual fathers have something to say about this. The priests who perform weddings have something to say about it. Marriage is a very public and communal reality, and it should be treated as such. So obtain permission. If you're going to start dating someone and you're a man looking to date a woman, ask her father first. Respect her by recognizing that she's part of a family, that how you treat her will affect them as well. And if you're religious and have a good relationship with your pastor, ask him. Ask your spiritual father if he thinks you're ready, if you're mature, and if there's anything else you should do to prepare. Solicit a blessing. Sixth, express your goals. Formally, make it very clear what you're doing. You're not just passing the time, and you're not looking for a sexual outlet, are you? Declare your intentions formally to the person you wish to court so that there's no confusion. The seventh suggestion is to play your part faithfully. The man has an important role to play. The woman has a role to play, and she should play it well. Don't defraud your brother. Number 8. This is the language of St. Paul. It comes from the 4th chapter of 1 Thessalonians, where he says that God's will is for us. Our body sanctification has come to an end. In this matter, we defrauded our brother. Remember that when you're dating, you never know if the person you're dating will become your spouse. You have no idea, and you'll know when you're ready. You'll know when you feel the crowns on your head and hear the priest say, "Crown them, O Lord, with glory and honor," because you don't know until then, and it's possible that it won't be your spouse. As a result, do not take what's not yours and what belongs solely to a person's spouse. In this matter, do not defraud your brother. In fact, practice what St. Paul advised his spiritual son, St. Timothy. Treat the older women as mothers, the younger women as sisters, the older men as fathers, and the younger men as brothers. He said, and he meant it. In courtship, you should act in this manner. Don't have relations with someone you're courting that you wouldn't have with your own sister, because that's what the person you're courting is to you, until she or he becomes more, until you're engaged, and then you're we. You're nothing more than that. And if you behave properly, without defrauding your brother, you might be able to have a courtship. And if that doesn't work out, no harm, no foul, no tears, no broken hearts. You can move on because there's a mutual respect. This is the path of wisdom, and it is the path that our forefathers taught us. Numeral 9. In your courtship, be content rather than entertaining. A Lakers game can be enjoyed by anyone. Anyone can have a good time at the movies. That doesn't mean you won't be able to tell if you're meant to be together. Instead, concentrate on the important things. Visit significant locations. Have meaningful conversations that require an expression of a person's mind, inner self, and heart. Then, you'll learn a lot about each other. Number 10. Don't discuss marriage together. This is a big temptation. If the courtship is going well, you don't want to start making plans and putting the cart ahead of the horse. Whatever happens. Of course, if you do that and make all these plans, it turns the woman's father's permission request into a rubber stamp, which it's not. Canonically, church priests are not permitted to marry anyone without the explicit permission of the girl's father. That's a serious matter in our culture, and you don't want to cook the whole thing just to ask him for a rubber stamp. Instead, be prudent in your approach. And you can talk about marriage, but not as if you and your partner are married. That is preparing yourself for temptation. Number 11. When you believe that the person you're dating is the one, and you begin to seriously consider a life together, it's critical to seek the advice of those people in your life who are very important to you. Your mother, father, spiritual father, brother, sister, or whatever. Make sure you get counseling and get other people's feedback on your match. Finally, number 12. This is from Sino Petra's great elder Emilo. When you first start dating, hold on to your hearts with both hands and don't let go, he advises. Hold your heart with both hands and don't let go, because the heart is cunning. And if you don't hold on tight, you might end up somewhere you didn't intend to be. So hold on with both hands and tread carefully down the courtship path. God bless you. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video, and may God bless you.